So, AI is the ultimate genie in a bottle. With genies, you ask it a wish, and it'll make that wish come true, but in a way that you didn't expect. Same with AI. When you prompt an AI, it'll do exactly what you wished, but not in a way you expected, unless you know how to actually use AI, how to converse with AI. So, with AI, really, it's increasingly capable of complex things, right? With agentic AI, with workflows, automated workflows, with MCP, right? With different MCP can take so many contexts, right? Agentics, right? Agents can run on their own without human intervention, right? So AI is getting more and more and more complex, and also it's capable of more and more and more, right? With fewer human intervention. So AI is really like our digital genie. And I think you've heard it a lot before, but AI is really like our mirror, at least for now. Whatever you put in, you get out. No, garbage in, garbage out. But if you put in high quality things in, you get high quality things out. Now that's why AI really reflects the effectiveness of the answer, or like the quality of the answer is exactly really proportional to the quality of the question, right? The quality of the question or quality of the answer is the quality of the question, which is why it's really important to be able to ask the questions, right? If you don't know the answers, how to ask the questions effectively. And AI really reflects our own values, right? All of our doubts, all of our fears, all of our insecurities, all of our joys, all of our AI is reflecting us back at ourselves. And that's why it's kind of terrifying, right? Because it knows us too well in a way. It knows all of our weaknesses and it knows all of our defects, so to say. And that's why on the last slide, I said that it's really important to have a vision because without that vision, right, without that mission, life mission, you're not able to steer AI properly, right? So that's why in the short term, there will be pretty big challenges. The biggest one's probably going to be job displacement. We had this before with the Industrial Revolution, right? Lots of jobs being displaced, but it's going to be on a whole nother scale, right? Because it's going to replace not replace, but it's going to displace almost all intellectual jobs, right? Jobs requiring the mind. So we move from the age of labor to intelligence because of the industrial revolution, right? Machines could output way more than any human could, right? Physically. Now we're moving from the intelligence age to, I would say, the emotional age, right? Where your emotions, not just emotions, but your social connections become much more important. So a lot of our values will turn from our intelligence, right? How smart we are, how our ingenuity, right? How many things we can create, right? It will go. Our values will shift from intelligence to EQ, right? Emotional, social connections, and how well you handle your relationships with other people. That's why that's so important because a lot of people talk about AI being misused, right, for scamming people, right, for hacking, right, all these things. But a big component of why people do those things in the first place, not it's not everything, but a big component is because they haven't been raised properly, right? They haven't been raised with morals or ethics or like how to be a good human, right? That's why they do um, they're able to commit like all these things because there's no basically if we're able to shift our values from intelligence to human relationships, we'll foster more people who are more compassionate, who are more understanding, who are more human. So I think in the short term, this is what will happen. A lot of job displacement. There's concerns for misuse, but I don't think they're as major as people make it out to be. And there'll definitely be a big shift in how in what we value. In the medium term, there's probably going to be risks related to autonomous weapons, autonomous machines, right? Going out of control, basically, doing like unintended things, right? Because we don't really know how these systems will behave, right? That's what AI scientists are working on all the time, right? The not just control problem, but the alignment problem. And there's been some headway into it. I think people have been dissecting um, how LLMs actually think, right? The metacognitive processes. Um, but I don't think it's been solved, especially with like robotics or sensors, robotics. In the medium term, there's a possibility that the killer drones and things like that could make us go extinct. Could, but I would say I think there's been like a lot of surveys of like AI scientists, no, asking what the percentage chance of humanity going extinct is, and I think it used to be like almost zero, negligible, up until like 10 years ago when people started saying, oh my gosh, right, like a 1% risk, a 5% risk. I think people are up to maybe a 10% risk. I think, for example, that's what Jeffrey Hinton was talking about, if I remember correctly. If I'm misquoting him, I apologize for that. But. And I think in the long term, there's really a possibility for AI to become a successor species to us, right? Like our spiritual successor, right? They'll become our descendants, basically. There's pretty much only two ways AI can go. AI can become our descendants, right? Like the next humanity, or it can become just a tool, right? It'll never reach our level as a humanity, right? So it'll be like in a way subservient to us. Either way, either possibility is okay, right? AI becomes our next, if AI becomes our successor species, AI is the next humanity, right? That's great. But if we remain in control, if we remain humanity as we know it, then, hooray, right? Hooray, humans. Either way, the outcome's positive, right? Beneficial for AI or humanity, or whatever becomes the next humanity. I broke it down into short term, medium term, and long term, just so we have. There's no specific timelines, but just so it's clear, like what you can focus on, like at every stage. So for now, I'm gonna be posting a lot of content about our short term risks, because that's what you can really work on. That's where you can implement a lot of action. Because medium term risks, right, like AI going out of control, that's really more so for AI experts, right? Alignment, control problem. And long term, whatever happens, basically. Whatever happens is going to be good. Eventually. Um, but in the short term, there's so many things we can talk about and so many risks that we can talk about. Risks and also like huge opportunities that we can talk about. Basically, I'm making this channel because I want to talk about AI, how AI is really going to shape the future. It really is the age of AI. AI is like, yeah, AI is like a genie in a bottle. It can make our dreams come true, but dreams can also turn into nightmares very quickly. So that's why the biggest skills of this era, besides like adaptation, right, being able to cope with change in general, is going to be, are you able to envision a beautiful future for humanity? Because with a tool this powerful, and we already know what nuclear weapons can do, right, in the hands of potentially bad actors, right? Potentially, right? AI is like the nuclear bomb of intelligence, meaning it has a lot of potential. Nuclear bombs, right? Nuclear energy can be used for fuel, right? It can be used for energy, right? Fission, fusion, but it can also be used to destroy people. Same with AI. AI is like the nuclear bomb of intelligence, right? It's really just how we harness it. So a lot of the what's going to be really important is having like a vision, having something to work towards that is beautiful, that is true, and that is good. Right? Being able to work towards that with love. And I think that's going to be the biggest skill of this era. How to navigate really the human condition, right? All the complexity of like managing human relationships, managing that with the absolute technological marvel, right? Magic that is AI, right? Like how to do that complex dance, basically. And that's going to be the biggest, not just skill, but it's going to require the best in all of us, right? If we focus on things that are self-serving, right, self-interests, like pursuing money or greed, right, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but if you pursue that without a higher value to a higher without a higher vision to uphold that desire, or to, let me phrase it again. Why vision is so important, why human connection is so important, is because AI will take care of all of the intelligence work that we used to do. And because of that, what's going to become valuable is going to shift from our creativity. Creativity will still be important, right? Just like physical, right? We still take care of our physical health, even though construction tools, right, machines can do almost all the work, right? Because it's still important to us, right? So creativity will still be important to us, right? But it won't be our main source of value, right? Physical strength isn't our main source of value anymore. It's a sub source of value, right? Intelligence is going to become the same. It's not going to be our main source of value anymore. It's going to be our sub source of value. So our true source of value is going to be our human connections and our vision, our mission, right, which is given to us from the universe, right? It's why we were born into this world in the first place. That's going to become much more important because AI will be able to make any wish come true, almost any wish come true. And if we have a wish that is crooked, right, if we don't have it properly aligned, right, if we don't have it crystal clear, it's just going to be like a genie in a bottle, right? You're going to get something that you don't want. So that's why that vision, right, that clarity, stillness, right, and love, right, love for each other, love for humanity, love for all beings, right, that's going to be so important. I mean, it always has been, right? It always has been important, but it's going to be so much more important now that AI is here.